Hey there, welcome to WaterBaby Tarot by BOMISpirit. I'm Rodin. So I'm going to be doing a little series on the nodal axis switch into Gemini and Sagittarius from Cancer and Capricorn. So I'll be doing readings for people who have Gemini moon placements, Sagittarius moon placements, and North and South Node Gemini and Sag. Okay, I already can feel you guys. What about us? What about what about the non-Sag Gemmy people? So I'm focusing on these people because they're going to be most impacted by the North Node, South Node switch. Okay, so that's why I'm focusing on them. And basically, I'm going to be using the Akashic Tarot deck. Hold on. As the primary, and then we're going to take it from there. All the decks that I use are linked below. If you're really new to tarot readings, I suggest you look at the link below for how to interpret tarot readings as a viewer. It's a good little crash course, but like I said, this series is for very specific placements. This first part of the series excuse me, is for Gemini moon, okay? So let's go ahead and get into it. The North Node and South Node will be in Gemini and Sag until December 23rd, 2021. So it's a very long time. It's about 19 and a half months or so. So it's going to be quite a long ride. And Geminis, those who have Gemini moon placements, you guys kind of tend to lean towards a lot of anxiety. I'm already feeling it. I'm already feeling a lot of anxiety. You guys also tend to lean towards like consistent mood swings. Like you don't stay in an emotion for too long for my Gemini moon placement people. I won't lie to you. I find Gemini moons, like I find that to be a tough placement because Gemini wants to be everywhere, right? Like Gemini to me is so adaptable and can change on a dime when Gemini needs to. But in the, but it's working with the moon, which is water, which is emotions, right? So that's kind of hard because sometimes we need to sit in emotions for a little while or have some consistency with our emotions to feel stable. So I'm not saying you guys aren't stable. I'm just saying you guys have a lot of anxiety and can tend towards a lot of shifting in your mood and your emotions very quickly, more so than other people, okay? So you're going to be feeling this pressure. I feel a lot of just anxiety around events, like needing to adapt very fast to events and changes, which again, you don't really have too much of a problem with, but you're going to be really feeling it more intensely. It's going to feel a little more stressful than it normally does for you. Okay, Gemini moons. And I do feel that you guys are going to be having quite the struggle in relationships. Like, Gemini is also a very social sign. It is a sign of collaboration and teamwork and also knowledge, like knowledge and seeking truth. That's also going to be a big theme with this nodal switch into Gemini and Sag. A big theme of like, what's really real? What's the truth versus what would people just say, right? We're going to see a lot of that take place in media and like on the global stage. Separating fact from fiction. Separating fact from fiction. And you're going to see that play out in your relationships. You're definitely going to see that play out in your relationships. You might even find that you feel very differently about your relationships not too long after the switch takes place. Now keep in mind, for the next 19 and a half months, it's going to feel a little bit more intense during some times and other times depending on what else is going on, okay? If you look at your birth chart, you look at your Gemini moon placement, there should be a degree placement there too. When the North Node is exact, which means it has the same exact degree as your moon, you're going to really fucking feel it. You're going to really feel it, all right? So just keep your eyes peeled for that. And of course, you got to look that up on your own. I can't do it for every individual chart, okay? But anyway, blah, blah, blah. Let's go ahead and dive into this, okay? Sorry, I'm already getting some more stuff. I feel like I'm going to be questioning people a lot. I can already feel that. Like, you already do that, but, like, this is going to feel almost like an urgency to really question people and really get the truth out of them. Again, this whole, like, theme of, siphoning, like, fact from fiction with people. I think you're going to be calling bullshit on people way more often than you normally do. It's going to be a growing experience. Just remember that. It's going to be a growing experience. What can my Gemini moons expect with this nodal switch? What can my Gemini moons expect with this nodal switch? You might have to deal with your shadow a lot more too. I feel more of that like feel a little polarity kind of creeping in there. Like trying to make trying to make everything black and white when everything's really gray. Don't make yourself crazy with that, Gemini. As you start to search for truth, as you start to search for like what's fact versus fiction out of everyone's mouth. And again, I'm talking in extremes, so it can be just minor for some of you. But as you're doing that, I can already feel it. You're gonna start falling into the whole black and white, them versus me, truth versus just everything that's false. Be very careful of that, Gemini. I feel like it's going to be a very quick entryway into getting into polarity mindset. Okay, so just be very mindful, because that is going to be the challenge here with those nodal placements anyway for the collective, and you're really going to feel that with Gemini moon placement. Ooh. Yeah. So we have the One of Forces in reverse, which is the Akashic Field, also equivalent to the Ace of Swords in reverse, basically needing to see. Needing to really understand the truth. Needing to understand the truth and not really being able to at this point in time. Really struggling with being able to do that. Yeah, really struggling with being able to do that. If you fall into like really heavy, like shadow, lower vibe energy sort of behavior, it's going to be very like accusatory. It's going to be very suspicious. It's going to even lean towards paranoid if you get really, really into it, or if you have like, Gemini stellium, along with anything else going on. But I do feel that. Or you can just recognize that it might be a funky, confusing time for a while. Excuse me. And just take things in stride. Okay. If you get too caught up in this, you're going to make yourself crazy. Hold on. Excuse me. Okay. What else can my Gemini moons expect for this time period of Gemini and North Node and Sagittarius and South Node? Remember, truth always has a way of coming out, Gemini. You don't have to squeeze it out. You don't have to squeeze it out. You don't have to dissect it out. Things do come to light when they need to. Just be wary that you might be a little bit more confused than you normally are. Some of you are used to having a lot of clarity. Hold on, I gotta get into this for a second. Some of you are used to having a lot of clarity. This is a time where you might not have that to lean on, okay? And that's okay. It's a growing lesson. What else can my Gemini moons expect? What else can my Gemini moons expect for the next 19 and a half months for Gemini, North Node, Sagittarius, and South Node for my Gemini moons? Do not tell me, whoa. That's your only card? Are you kidding me? Oh, this is gonna be good. Okay, I like that this is the only card you have, because I think it's really the epitome of what you're gonna be feeling. On the bottom, oh yeah, we have 3 of Scrolls in reverse, which is setting your course. So this is what it looks like upright, but setting your course here. This is considered the Pentacles. So it's like 3 of Pentacles in reverse here. So like I said, you're going to be struggling with working with people, dealing with people. So I'm giving you guys the explicit like themes of Pentacles and swords and all of that with this deck. But this deck is not very typical to tarot. I'm just trying to give you guys a little bit of like a reference. Jesus, that's the word. Reference for yourself, because they have their own very explicit meanings, right? For example, One of Forces in reverse is basically saying that you need to go and visit the Akashic Field to get some answers and get some clarity, because you don't have any right now. 3 of Scrolls in reverse is indicating that you are supposed to be taking some progression. You are on a bit of a path here, or a journey, or some kind of quest, but it's not going well. Okay, it's not going well, or it's been flat out delayed. And some of you are dealing with multiple people, up to 3 for some of you in the midst of this. Some of you might even find that 3 major relationships you have between now and the next 19 and a half months might be super rocky. And they're going to help you grow, but you also might be realizing that they're not really who you thought they were. Okay, most likely this is family. Yeah, I'm actually getting a lot of family here. Could also be friends, because Gemini is a very like friend social circle sign, but I am getting like family, or you've considered them to be family or part of your soul tribe. Yeah, see, I didn't even realize that. Underneath that, we do have community with the 8 of Roses, equivalent to the 8 of Cups, with the fated meeting in reverse. Fated meeting in reverse basically says that someone's not honoring a soul contract. It's at least one person, but I feel like for a lot of you, there's 3 significant relationships, just going explicitly off the card here, that will be highlighted for you in the next 19 and a half months that are going to be rocky. And especially that we have community right next to it. It's part of the people or individuals that you consider to be part of your soul tribe. They were like family to you, or that kind of level of intimacy, whether they're your actual family or just friends that you consider to be that close. But there's definitely a contract not being honored here, and you're going to feel very held back. You're going to feel very delayed. Yeah, I'm just getting a lot of this anxiety and just wanting to understand. Just really wanting to understand, and it's going to feel very confusing. I cannot stress this enough. You will feel confused way more so than you normally do. You're going to get a little bit more triggered. You're going to get a little bit more upset because you feel like the people around you are not being honest with you. Whether they are or they're not, you're just not having the clarity that you're used to having. You're not. And definitely there's at least one contract that's not being honored or will no longer be honored. So let's go ahead and clarify the One of Forces in reverse. See what we get with that. I'm going to use Witch's Tarot for this one. Employment One of Forces in reverse. Employment One of Forces in reverse. Employment One of Forces in reverse. No, too many. Employment One of Forces in reverse. For Gemini moons, for the Nodal axis switch. Again, too many. Can I get less cards, please? Less cards, please. All right, thank you. Yeah, 5 of Cups. Scorpionic energy. Geminis, there are a few things that really, really kill a Gemini's vibe, or can really make a Gemini feel very sad or even depressed or just like lacking any like oomph, like lacking any steam. When you don't have a tribe, when you don't have like an outlet for communication, Geminis really need that. When you don't have an outlet for communication or you have no mental stimulus, like when you guys don't have that, it's very difficult to function for Geminis. Very difficult here. And you're kind of losing some of that. You're losing some of that. And it's very uncomfortable. And for some of you, I gotta be honest, for some, I'm actually feeling a little bit of that depressive energy. Also feeling a lot of those mood swings here. Don't let it get you down. It just is what it is. I really feel like, Geminis, if you just accept that, okay, this is going to be a confusing time. It's not going to feel comfortable, but it's going to help me gain some perspective with relationships and with tribe. Like I keep getting tribal. I keep getting like tribe energy with people who I decide to be part of my tribe or people in general. I really feel like it's in the realm of social that you're going to be gaining a lot of perspective here during this period of time. But if you don't hold on to things, you're going to feel a lot better, and I don't think you're going to fall too hard into that, okay? So I'm going to put the One of Forces in reverse for my Gemini moons. Yeah, 8 of Pentacles, Virgo energy. Yeah, it's like, oh my God, Gemini. Some of you are going to feel like you've lost the ability to understand. Like, oh my God. Oh, I can feel tightness in my chest as I'm tapping into that. Like, did I just lose the ability to understand? Did I just lose the ability to analyze? Like, oh my God, talk about taking away a Gemini's passion. And it's like breathing for you guys. You might feel that way, but again, it's not true. It's not true. It's the way you're feeling, because clarity is not like readily available, and you can feel because you just don't have it, or that people are actually withholding it from you, especially when it comes to this. This is a lot of social soul contract, like not going well, being delayed, completely being canceled. Like some of your plans are actually being canceled. I'm actually seeing that. Some of your plans, like to move or to travel with people, or even like business plans with people, are being canceled, or like, that's weird. I wanted to say adapted. And then I heard manipulated. I was like, changed. We'll say altered. We'll just say altered there. But at least one person, at least one contract is not going to be honored anymore, or will not be. Okay? Whether you're on the end of it or someone else is. I feel like other people are on the end of it. You might feel like people are almost even abandoning you. But I don't think they are. And all you want to do is understand. All you want to do is understand. Again, don't make yourself crazy with this, Gemini. I really feel like you're not meant to have full clarity on this because it's going to make sense later. It's meant to give you a different perspective on connections, on soul connections and tribal energy, okay, and tribal dynamics. It's meant to help you understand it better, okay? But I can feel it. It's tough. It's tough. Tell me more about one of forces in reverse for Gemini moon for this nodal axis period. Okay, I'll take those all. I was like, that's a lot, but I'll take them all. Tell me about one of forces in reverse. Okay. So now we have, oh, Gemini. Three of Pentacles, Capricorn energy with the Ten of Cups in reverse, Piscean energy. Ten of Cups in reverse is unhappiness, right? It's an unhappy home, unhappy environments. Like, it doesn't even have to mean that the people in your environment are making you unhappy. It's like you go home and you're unhappy. Like, it's that kind of energy. Yeah, you're not content. You're not content with, you're going to realize very quickly that you're not content with your current agreements with people or your current dynamics with people or the current contracts you have with people. You're going to realize you're not content about it. And it's because all of a sudden you're feeling like there's something you're not aware of. That's how you're going to feel. Like, there's something I'm not aware of. I don't know what's going on. Are they hiding something from me? It's like you're just going to have this underlying feeling of lack of clarity, fogginess, not being able to totally understand, but you want to. But that feeling of not understanding, like, God, talk about a way to torture a Gemini. That's what's making you unhappy. That's what's making you unhappy. And it's interesting, Gemini, because I can feel very quickly that you're becoming very discontent, but at the same time, I feel like as your tribe changes, it's going to change. As your tribe changes, people don't honor their soul contracts. You feel like people aren't being honest with you. You want to accuse people. Even though people are pulling away from you, you're not happy with them anyway. But because they're pulling away from you and you don't have full clarity as to why, that is making you crazy. You're not okay with that. And I got to be honest, Gemini, I'm also feeling that for some of you, it's like, it's more so that they're pulling away and not you. Some of you might get challenged in that arena, in the arena of pride. And some of you, this is feeling a little bit like abandonment is being triggered and rejection's being triggered, not feeling understood, not feeling respected. So, and that's the thing, Geminis, when it comes to relationships, there's two people involved, right? And sometimes if it's a family, there's a shit ton of people involved affecting one dynamic, right? We all know that. Sometimes it's them, sometimes it's you, sometimes it's both of you. And that's okay. You don't have to understand everyone's motive. You don't have to understand it all the time. Sometimes people are just going to do what they got to do. And sometimes people have to leave. Sometimes people have to leave, but you're going to have this overwhelming feeling of needing to understand more so than you normally do. And that's what's going to make it hard. And there's the Four of Cups. I was like, as I just picked this up, yep, and there's the abandonment. Ten of Swords in reverse, Gemini, with the Four of Swords, Libra, and the Four of Cups, Cancer. There it is. Trying to understand what that Four of Swords, Ten of Swords in reverse, trying to understand the pain, the feeling of betrayal, the feeling of not being really wanted, even though you didn't want them either. You started to not want them, Gemini, because you started to not be happy in the situation with these agreements you have with these people. You started to not be happy about it. Something was off. All of a sudden, something feels off. Something's not clear. I feel like they're not being honest. I feel like they're up to something. I feel like they're not honoring what our agreement was. I feel like they're not honoring our dynamic. Like all of this, like, why aren't they doing this for me? What are they up to? And then I can feel it goes into this accusatory thing because you don't have the clarity on it. And then if they pull away first, some of you guys are gonna get really triggered by that. If they pull away first, almost like, what was their deal? How come they pulled away from me? And I do feel pride there. I do. And like, pride's okay as long as it's healthy. But I do feel a little bit like you should have pulled away first. Like I feel a little bit of ego there. I do. I'm just being totally honest. Overall energy, we have the Eight of Cups in reverse, Pisces, and then we have Two of Wands. Ooh, yeah, Aries energy. Having a really hard time putting this behind you that you don't have to understand it all. You don't have to understand all of the fiction versus the fact. You don't have to know it all. You don't have to understand everything that happens between you and another person. You don't have to understand everyone's motives. You don't have to understand how everyone works. And some of you, and again, because I keep getting this little bit of ego, and it's not all of you, so just take it as it resonates. But for some of you, it's like, well, I need to understand how they work. I need to understand their brain and their motives so that you can have some control. I can feel that. I can definitely feel that a little bit. Obviously not for all of you, but for some of you. But yeah, this lack of clarity is going to make you really struggle to leave behind some of these soul contracts and to really resist some of these changes to your tribe. But again, these changes have to happen because I feel like this whole period is about giving you perspective on dynamics of relationships, specifically tribal, not just romantic. Like this is tribe. This is screaming tribe to me. On tribal dynamics and connections and how it makes you feel. Okay? That you don't need to control everything by understanding how everyone's brain works. You don't need to know that. You don't. I know for Geminis, for you, like you guys crave knowledge. You love knowledge. You love it, but you don't need it all the time. When it comes to people and relationships, you just need to let people be. And some of you guys are also realizing that like people just are who they are and I don't need to understand them in all of their entirety for my own benefit. Like you guys are realizing that. And for some of you, it's definitely triggering some abandonment here. And for some of you, some ego about like, well, if someone's going to leave me, I want to leave them first. Definitely feeling that. But either way, you are trying to look ahead with that Two of Wands. You're really trying to, but you're really struggling. The emotions are the emotional component of all of this is getting you caught up here. So you might go through this in waves. It's not going to be a 19-month long period of these like one specific connections, right? Like I said, I felt 3. And this card, 3 of Scrolls, indicates that there's 3 because there's other cards that represent paths involving other people. You got all the tribal stuff. All right, you got all the tribal ones. But some of you, it's 3 significant connections amongst this time period. Okay? Wow. Interesting. We only got 1 card, so I'm like, I'm wondering, like, what else could I clarify? I think it's very clear. Let's look at the 2 of Wands. Let's look at the 2 Wands. Let's see if anything interesting comes out of there. I'm going to use Honest Truth deck, and then we'll get creative here with some oracle cards. Can't speak. All right. Scooch. Tell me about the 2 of Wands. Some of you really need to learn these lessons with these specific contracts because it's actually been preventing you from seeing something else about your path. I'm also getting that. That's interesting. And it feels like multiple contracts, not just one. But there's at least one being highlighted that feels really intense. Could even be a romance because this feels really intense. This is usually like the lovers. This is a weird combination. I look at it as lovers with Chariot with Hierophant. Like it's with the High Priestess. There's a lot of divinity and like divine intervention kind of going on in this card, but it's about a contract on a soul level between 2 individuals. And of course we all have free will. So like this is someone just not honoring it. But some of you, that's definitely a romance there. Okay. Tell me about this 2 of Wands. Actually, I'm doing one more. But you're going to need this perspective. That's what it is. You need this perspective where you're going, this change of perspective, an evolved perspective. We'll put it that way. An evolved perspective on people and relationships and the emotional component there. I feel it's about the emotional component in dynamics and how to respect it and not use it to your benefit. Because I feel like for some of you, there's like a subconscious, and I'm not saying this makes you bad. Like the word manipulate, I think people take it as like a bad thing. I think that you'd use it to your benefit and it's in a natural way to make you feel comfortable about being in connections with people, to have a little bit of that like upper hand, but realizing the need to kind of respect the connection and to not do that. Like you don't need it. You don't need it to have healthy connections. You don't need it to have strong connections either. Tell me about the 2 of Wands. Because this is you trying to look ahead. This is you trying to look ahead and keep going. Tell me about the 2 of Wands for my Gemini moons. Tell me about the 2 of Wands. So I know the Two of Wands for my Gemini moons. Yeah, beautiful. Temperance, Sagittarian energy. The South Node, basically. But finding balance, I like that. You want to go to a place you want to go to a balanced way of being in all of this, but your emotions are making you feel like very unbalanced. Your emotions are making you feel very ungrounded. And so for some of you, it's triggering some abandonment, rejection, needing to have a little bit of control in relationships, that sort of thing. And control in like the mental way, like having like a mental control over somebody. I know that sounds really terrible. I'm not trying to make it sound bad. For some of you, it's just a very natural thing. Like you're not trying to manipulate people. It's just how you've gone about it's your instinct to go about relationships in that way. You're learning a different way. You're going to be more evolved after this. Anyway, but you just want some peace. You just want some peace. That's all you want. Yeah, interesting. Seven of Wands, Leo energy. Yeah, that's how you have your confidence in relationships. For those who are resonating with this, again, it's not a judgment. It is not a judgment. Nobody here is bad who's watching this. You're not bad people. We all evolve over time in our own way, and this is just a very specific niche of being more evolved in the emotional component in your relationships. Okay, specifically tribal, like community, family, social group, like your besties, like that kind of tribal here. That is where you gain your confidence in relationships, is having such a mental understanding of the other people's brain, their motives, how they work and why they work. Again, that's very Geminian, right? And you can adapt to that. Like Geminis are really good at adapting to other people's personalities and putting on the mask when they need to. And again, this sounds bad. I'm not trying to use these words like they're bad. It's not a bad thing. It's like you relate to a lot of people because you know how to relate to a lot of people. That's what I mean, right? But if you don't have that understanding of how someone works, you feel very uncomfortable in a relationship. Like if you don't understand why someone does what they do, or if you can't predict what someone's gonna do, you become very uncomfortable. Like those that I'm tapping into, very uncomfortable in a relationship. You don't have confidence in how to handle it or manage it, and you want that confidence again. You want that confidence again, and you're seeking it out. Tell me more about the Two of Wands for my Gemini moons. Too many. Tell me more about the Two of Wands for my Gemini moons. Ooh, I like that. Knight of Cups, Piscean energy. Goes be water or fire. Oh, I'm getting a very gentle energy with that. I like that. So I remember the Two of Wands. Yeah, with the, oh, oopsie. Oh, there was a card under there. I thought I picked up the Seven of Wands. Five of Cups in reverse, Scorpio, with the Page of Pentacles. Friend. I'm just getting friendship. I'm getting friendship off of that. Aw, Geminis, my Gemini moons. This is really sweet, really touching. You want to get to a place where you can go about your relationships and connections in a very gentle way. I really like this. And Page of Pentacles, it is that friendship card. It is the card of friendship. It's also the card of a new perspective, right? Going about relationships in a little bit more of a, I will nourish your mind, I will nourish your emotions and not catalog them for my own benefit. It's very sweet. It's very sweet. So you'll be finding your sea legs, so to speak, in this new perspective of going about relationships. I'm not saying you weren't sweet and gentle before. Geminis are very sweet. Geminis are very, very sweet, and they can be very nurturing. This is a little bit more of I'm not going to be constantly cataloging you and your motives and your behavior and what you feel. I'm not going to be constantly cataloging it for my own benefit. I'm going to be listening. I'm going to understand it. I'm going to nurture that. I'm not just going to think of how to approach you in any situation to get whatever desired outcome I need, to feel comfortable. You're not going to go about it anymore like that. So I remember the Two of Wands. Overall energy. Ooh. Queen of Wands in reverse. Aries could also be fire or water. Yikes. With the Ten of Swords in reverse, Gemini. With the Hangman in reverse, Pisces. Oh, beautiful. With the Six of Swords, Aquarius. So it's going to feel rough. It's going to feel bumpy, but you're going to get to a place of peace. You will. You will, Gemini. It's just going to be hard to get over the emotional triggering and uncomfortable energy that you're going to be getting from this. The feeling of not having confidence in your relationships and how to like engage with people in the way that you used to. It's really giving you an elevated, evolved way of looking at relationships and being in them in a tribal sense. It feels really good. I really like it. Okay. And again, no judgment. If anything I said, we've all got our stuff and we're all human beings having a human experience. It is not a judgment. It's so not a judgment. All of you are really good people. Okay. I will say this though, overall, with the Two of Wands, with the Queen of Wands in reverse and the Ten of Swords in reverse, again, that feeling of betrayal, of feeling like your tribe betrayed you. Really feeling like that. You're going to have a period of time where you're going to feel resentful because you don't understand. That's going to make you a little crazy. You're going to be very frustrated by your lack of clarity, but you will eventually get to a place of calm and understanding and have a new perspective on it that gives you peace of mind. I think you're also going to realize after a while, Gemini, that these people who decided to not honor their soul contracts anymore, or these people who might have full on betrayed you, because I do feel a little bit of that. They're not telling me the truth. I feel a little bit of that going on. They're not telling me the truth, and very accusatory energy on your side to them. There's a little bit of that going on that's going to be really rough. But once you get past that, you're going to realize it's a blessing in disguise. That it was happening so that you could evolve in understanding relationships and the emotional dynamics at play, how to respect them and not use them. And that will elevate you to a place of peace and to higher vibration connections. Okay? Very valuable learning lesson there. Really more about collaborating and not like me versus them sort of energy, and not needing to understand truth versus fiction and not like going at it, picking at it, dissecting it. Some of you might even go on I'm getting a little bit of this too, that some of you might have a period of time, specifically with these people who will no longer be honoring their soul contracts with you or how your tribe will be changing. I do feel for some of you, like as you keep going at it, hold on a second. Like wanting truth, either trying to squeeze it out of them or making yourself crazy and trying to figure it out or accusing them. I gotta be honest, Gemini, some of you might even play some mind games on them to try and get them to trip up, to like tell on themselves. It's only gonna make it worse. It's only gonna make it worse. It's only gonna make it more drama filled, more chaotic, and it's only gonna leave you feeling way more miserable and unhappy, discontent, rejected. All of that, and it's gonna be harder for you to get past it. Okay, so try not to do that. Oh, give me a second, guys. I need some I think I need more water than this. Hold on. Oh, okay, Geminis, I'm back. We were done with the reading anyway, so there we go. I do hope that it was helpful. I am going to pick an advice card from the Wisdom of Oracle. Yeah, my throat is my throat is so tired right now. But let's go ahead and pick an advice card. Can I get an advice card for my Geminis, please? For my Gemini moons regarding this spread? Yeah, unfinished symphony with, look, a cycle. Energy of 10, like I said, cyclical. Damn it. Sorry, guys. I'm almost done. Let's go ahead and read this one out. Unfinished symphony. Unfinished business, an incomplete lesson, lack of closure, the need to make amends. This is a time to tie up loose ends as you near the completion of a cycle or project or mastery of a lesson or skill. Before you can move forward, it's important that you come to terms with where you are now. Practical, radical acceptance. Take inventory so that emotional and psychological closure can occur and the answers you seek will be found. You can't move forward if you are leaving things unfinished. Reflect on what is past so that the symphony can finally end on a high note. Relationship message. Moving on is difficult when love lingers. Things are left unsaid. You haven't had the opportunity for closure in your relationship and in your heart. You can still feel bound up in relationships when closure is denied you. It's important to achieve this for yourself. Write that letter, make that call, or have that conversation over a cup of coffee. For peace of mind, accept matters as they are. Yeah, so like I was saying, like don't pick. You don't have to know everything. You don't have to like get people to tell you everything, even though you feel like you're not getting everything. So for some of you, that is coming across like you need closure from people and understanding like why your tribe has changed so much. Because your site isn't what it is during this time period because it's not supposed to be, right? So some of you are learning that lesson of how to give closure to yourself, or to understand that you can walk away not knowing all the answers, or not knowing all the information, or not knowing everyone's motives. Where was I? For peace of mind, accept matters as they are, make amends if need be, and declare your feelings even if only to yourself. Be clear about what was left unresolved. And close the door on the past so you can set yourself free. Only then can new love blossom. Prosperity message. Make sure you complete projects now before starting new ones. Perhaps you have created something special that will increase your sense of abundance and bring you opportunities for wealth. However, if you don't see it through, it won't add up to anything but more clutter. Now is the time to put your nose to the grindstone and complete the tasks that have accumulated. Pay your bills, sign the documents, do your filing, hand in an assignment, complete a work of art, tie up loose ends so you can move forward with surety, knowing you're on the prosperous path. You're on the prosperous path and feeling refreshed and excited about the future. Protection message. When an unfinished business casts a shadow over your life, it is a reminder that procrastination is a form of self-sabotage. It is not in your best interest to stall. Even stumbling forward is better than holding back. Don't overthink things or let yourself get distracted. Just tie up any loose ends and deliver the results. Don't quit before the finish line. Spirit wants you to win. I really do feel that it's about accepting that you're not going to get all the information all the time. And especially when it comes to relationships and tribal, because this feels very tribal to me, that you're gaining a new perspective on how to go about them, what's really required, and what should be respected versus used for your own benefit, okay? And again, it's not a judgment. It's not a bad thing. We're all human beings, right? We're all human beings. We all grow all the time and evolve all the time. But as your tribe changes or people stop honoring the contracts and you feel like people are holding back, you feel like people are lying to you, maybe even using you, and you're not sure where you're going, or you're not sure like what the truth really is, and you're dying to know the truth versus the fiction, you're not going to get all the answers. You'll get the answers you need, and you can give that to yourself by just accepting you're not going to get it from other people, or you're not going to get it out of people, and that you just need to take what's happened, process it, and then keep it moving, right? And this is really going to teach you, again, more of an elevated, evolved way of being in your tribal connections, especially in the realm of emotions and what information you really need about people versus how people function, right? Listening to more of like what they tell you versus why they do what they do and how their brain works. You can understand what they're going to do later. You know what I mean? But anyway, so some of you, like I said, is also in the realm of closure as well, that sometimes we're not going to get the closure we need, and you got to give it to yourself. So it's going to be an interesting process for you, my Gemini moons, and I hope that this reading has served you well, and I wish you luck on the next 19 and a half months, okay? I will see you guys later, and I hope you have a really good night. Namaste.